22 minutes past the hour now. The chief hitman for one of the most notorious drug lords ever is now roaming free. Some pictures up here in our slideshow to show you this afternoon. His name is John Vasquez, or I should say Velasquez. He's better known by his nickname, really, Popeye, which is how all of us around here know him. He was 52, now 52 years old. But even before he was 18, he joined up with this man, the late Pablo Escobar, and his cocaine cartel. By one estimate, Escobar once supplied 80% of all the cocaine snorted in the United States. Velasquez has confessed to personally killing 300 people. And not just that, he's admitted having a hand in some 3,000 killings in the 1980s and 1990s, and authorities believe him. And that includes his own girlfriend, reportedly one of Escobar's former lovers. And just yesterday, officials in Colombia, let Popeye out of prison for good behavior. Listen to some of his rap sheet here. He detonated more than 250 car bombs. He organized dozens of kidnappings, including one that nabbed this guy, who went on to become the president of Colombia. Popeye himself is linked to the 1989 bombing of a passenger jet, which killed more than 100 people. And investigators also say he helped plot the assassination of this man, a presidential candidate. And that got him 30 years in prison. But now he's served his time and he's free, partly because officials say he helped investigators put other people behind bars. According to our researchers, Velasquez's testimony has not led to any prosecutions here in the United States, so far as we know. Now that he's out, Velasquez says there's about an 80% chance one of his former rivals will kill him. He says he's considering moving to another country and wants to sell the rights to his autobiography. Criminal defense attorney Drew Findling is with us now, and he's live with us in Atlanta. Drew, everybody's upset that he's out. Everybody's worried that he's out. He did the time. Now he's on probation for 4 years, and he's out. That's how this works.
Shep, that's exactly how this works. And you know what? This isn't even unusual by United States standards. If we look at the way that we federally prosecute drug crimes in this country, particularly going back to the late 80s and early 90s when cocaine was the thing, we were giving deals to people that can furnish information. Remember, it's not just assisting in a prosecution, but how much information did you give your government that led to arrests and further investigations? And so what do you give up? You give up the number of years you're going to require somebody to stay in jail. And I have to tell you, a 30-year sentence is a norm in this country, and here's the reason why. Because in a case of this magnitude, there's a thing called an enhancement, which means you can get a life sentence. And your attorneys, like me, say, hey, we'll cut a deal, take the life sentence off the table, we'll take the 30. In the United States, with good time, that means 25 years or so. You take off the time after that for going to drug treatment. He obviously may have had drug problems. Now you're to 24. You go to a halfway house, you're down to 23 years. This is really what could have taken place in the United States with cooperation like this.
All right. He's admitted that he killed 300 people, that he's involved with the killing of thousands of people. Now he's out free, and he wants to sell the rights to his autobiography so that they can make a movie out of it. Can he do that?
Well, you know, I don't think you're going to see any Son of Sam laws apply because he's in South America. He's there. So does he want to sell his rights through the United States or a publishing company here? That's a likelihood. Does he want to do it in Europe? That's a likelihood. You know, don't forget, these Colombia drug lords are coming out of jail every day, Shep. This is just a modern phenomenon, and they are moving to Europe. This is not unheard of. This is what's happening to these former businessmen, so to speak.
Are they getting back in the business?
Well, you know, here's the interesting response to that, and that is the business has left them.
Yeah.
It's not it's just a different world right now. There are different drugs of choice, and it's a different era. I mean, this guy wouldn't even know how to use a darn cell phone or use an iPhone. Huh. So it's left. It's dominated by a new breed of people. It's a new culture. It's like, you know, it sounds crazy, but it's like being in the beverage industry 25 years ago, 30, 35 years ago, and getting out now. There's a whole new way of doing things. Technology has changed. Everything's changed. This guy is going to be unemployed, and he's going to have to look over his shoulder on a daily basis.
Yep, the law will be watching him, and his rivals will be watching him, and I bet this problem takes care of itself. Drew Fendling in Atlanta, thank you, sir.